Alright, Shalom. Before I begin this video, all praise, honor, and glory goes unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, as well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops. Alright? Enough respect to you brothers worldwide, teaching and preaching the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakak Wadash all throughout the four winds of the earth. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakak Wadash, Barakathum. And to you brothers and you little amount of sisters that are in order. And this is just a short video. And it's going to be entitled The Spirit and Power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Things continue to get worse and worse in Babylon the Great, aka America. Because, old T-Dog, he's flirting with the idea of, bringing this Insurrection Act to the front, which Lord's will he does. Okay, Lord's will he does. We cannot stand this place. And it is, it's our desire not only to be, of the elect and to be saved, by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, when these missiles come. It's also a desire of ours to see this place crumble. We love it. Every time we look in the news and we see, political back and forth, we love it. Every time we see, okay, this law, that law is being activated, putting more pressure and putting a hurting on this place. We love it ultimately because we're against this place. We hate this place because the Lord is against this place. And the Lord hates this place, Babylon the Great, aka America. It's not going to be too long. Let me just go ahead and get that screenshot real quick. That'll make a great thumbnail. Alright, so this is from Politico. Trump open to invoking the Insurrection Act. The comments came a day after a federal judge blocked the president from sending National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon. Says he would consider using the Insurrection Act to deploy the military if federal courts prevented him from deploying the National Guard to protect federal buildings and conduct law enforcement operations. Which, of course, on the surface, that's what it would be used for. But there's, this nefarious, there's this nefarious plan that's always, in the background. So we know, of course, for a fact that it may start off with them just kind of, surrounding and protecting certain buildings. But naturally, they're going to creep out into the street and see, we already know how this devil get down. Every day we get closer and closer to the Lord's return. So more and more is getting revealed. Okay, everybody knows about the plans of the self-proclaimed white man. Everybody knows that the self-proclaimed white man is the devil. And that if he says, hey, he's going to do something to protect you, really is going to be to harm you. This is how the devil works. Okay? The devil, the deceiver, the wicked, all right, which is the the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child. That's right. The Lord, the Lord has a disdain for you so-called. He has a hatred, okay, for you so-called white people. And it's biblical, right? That's why, once again, we don't mind that all this is going, up in smoke. This is why we don't mind it. We want more of this. We want to wake up and see the C-hip being pushed out. We want to see more chaos in the streets. It says National Guard troops being sent to Portland, Oregon, which Trump claims have been taken over by left-wing DTs. So that already goes to show that if you against a certain agenda, you're going to be considered a DT. We are already considered DTs, even though we aren't. All we doing is bringing out the word, all right? Yet they consider us a DT. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office he did not yet see the need to use the Insurrection Act, but if I had to enact it, I'd do it. If people were being deleted and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up. So basically he's saying that if there's any sort of opposition of any kind, then he's just going to go ahead and do what he feels like he has to do. So he's already openly saying that this is something that he's going to do. If there's any sort of pushback from anybody else, he's just going to do it. All right? Holding you up from what? All right? Hey, they want to get this going. And we agree, get it going. This shit should have been done, done. But we on the Lord's time. It says, you look at what's happening with Portland over the years, it's a burning hellhole. And then you have a judge that lost her way that tries to pretend that there's no problem. So specifically going into the Insurrection Act of 1807, it is a federal law, which, federal law trumps, the laws of the state, county, city, town, So, once he really puts that on the forefront, nothing can stop that. It's federal, nationwide. It says is a federal law that allows the president to nationally, right, so throughout all of America. So once he's able to, push that Insurrection Act, he essentially can put troops anywhere, within the United States of America, which obviously he's going to do that in major cities and also towns, little small towns, It says to nationally deploy the U.S. military or federalize state National Guard troops. So he can deploy Air Force, Army, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, whoever, and also activate National Guardsmen who are currently active duty, and somebody who's in the National Guard essentially is a dormant active duty member of the Army, essentially. and they call them weekend warriors, because the National Guard, when the U.S. military works Monday through Friday, basically for the most part, unless of course they're called in on the weekend. But on the weekend, that's taken over by the National Guard. But they are the National Guard is basically a division of the Army, much like how the Marines are a division of the Navy, of the Department of the Navy. So he can just activate all of them if he wants to. And he's going to do that. You going to see, hey man, when all hell breaks loose, when we see the chip pushed on a worldwide scale, when we see all this, all hell breaking loose, you going to see it all. You're going to see Navy, Army. You're going to see all sorts of troops, all sorts of camos, right? It says, federalized state National Guard troops to quell what the president deems an insurrection against the United States. Which, once again, if you going against the narrative, then you fall under that. You fall under basically committing high treason. And that's going to be met with force. Earlier Monday, it says Chief of Staff Stephen Miller said that the administration had been contending with a legal insurrection, and that ruling stifling the White House's agenda amounted to an insurrection against the laws and the Constitution of the United States. Yeah, so, scriptures speak about, basically this devil making and creating mischief by law, roughly paraphrasing. So he's going to allow these things to happen, ultimately to push that agenda, order out of chaos. There's orchestrated chaos, and he comes in with a fabricated solution. We need to have district courts in this country that see themselves as being under the laws and Constitution and not being able to take for themselves powers that are reserved solely for the president. It says Trump has flirted with invoking the Insurrection Act before. Place is circling the drain. We're going to continue to bring up the fact that this place is through. Every single day, we're going to bring up the fact that this place is through and that the Lord is coming to save the elect of the nation of Israel. And he's coming to destroy Babylon the Great, aka America, and everything in it. The elect are the only ones, the elect of the nation of Israel are the only ones who will survive and be beamed up by Yahweh Shem Shai, saved, and ultimately be the governing, body in the kingdom of heaven. You have the 144,000, right? You also have the 1/3. One third of Israel is going to be saved, from that from those intercontinental ballistic nuclear missiles. But I'm going to go ahead and get a couple presets. Alright, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 58. And this is just solidifying what was said at the beginning of the video. Psalms 58. And I'm just going to go straight to the point. 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. Yeah, so from birth, y'all ain't fucking right. You ain't right. You just ain't right. Right? Your spirit is evil. Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So from the jump, even at 2 years old, their first words is lies. Lies. Y'all, and the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child, y'all are all natural liars. Because Jake done grew up, around y'all. Y'all fucking lie. That's all y'all do. It just is what it is. It's not a mystery who the wicked is anymore. Psalms 58:4. The poison is like the poison of a serpent. Yeah, so y'all are like snakes. Subtle. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of the charmers, charming never so wisely. They hate the scriptures. They hate everything about the scriptures. They hate the men of the Lord, which is fine. That's perfect, because basically how it's set up is by you being against the Israelites, you being the natural, you're presenting yourself as an enemy. That just goes to show, okay, you're the wicked. We know who the wicked is. The wicked is pointed out and exposed. Psalms 58:5 says, which will not hearken to the voice of the charmers, charming never so wisely. Break their teeth, O Yahweh Shem Yahushua, in thy mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. Yeah, the Lord is going to tear y'all up, man. See, because right now, y'all are the powerful, noble, valiant of the earth. All right, the self-proclaimed white man. But now there's a shift. All right, the Israelites know who they are, right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay, it's been revealed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua that you are the Israelites. Psalms 58:7. Let them melt away as waters which run continually. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, yeah, you're going to melt because of them missiles. And the arrows are the missiles. Let them be as cut in pieces, yeah, because you're going to get blown up. Like how you got them, them old school cartoons, Tom and Jerry. Except it's not going to be pieces, it's not going to be pieces of bodies all over the place. No. This place is going to be completely clean, dissolved. Psalms 58:8. As a snail which melteth, right? Let every one of them pass away. All who are not of the elect of the nation of Israel, like the untimely birth of a woman, that they may not see the sun. Woo! Before your pots can feel the thorns, he shall take them away as with a whirlwind, both living and in his wrath. Man, the Lord is going to come with full wrath, full authority. Right? Chariots. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. Yeah, we're going to be saying, Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right? He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, which isn't literal. It's going to be a means to celebrate when we see our enemies being trampled. We're going to be dancing in that chariot. We're going to be crying, calling out to the Lord, the Wadi Abba Shem Yahushua. You literally jumping for joy. Not dancing in the sense of, you're doing the two-step. No, just jumping for joy, man. In the last verse, Psalms 58:11, so that a man shall say, verily there is a reward for the righteous. Yes, so seeing the salvation of the elect, that's how you know that there's a reward for the righteous. Being salvation. That's the ultimate reward, right? Verily, right? So the Lord is going to verify that. Verily, he is a power that judgeth in the earth. Yeah, and he's going to set up the elect of the nation of Israel, and he's going to take the heathen and make the heathen our footstool. And I'll just go to this one. Mark 12:36. And it reads, for David himself said by the Holy Ghost, the Lord said to my Lord, sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. Yeah, so the Lord is going to take out these other nations. And he's going to set up his elect. Lord's will would be of the elect. So, these, going back to the beginning of this video, these are just indicators, right, that this place is slowly circling down the drain. This is something that we look forward to. Every day we see these different articles popping up. We know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, we're getting closer and closer and closer to the end. All right, we're waiting on that CHIP. That CHIP is coming any moment. We wait patiently for that CHIP to poke out. We know that it's coming for a fact. We're going to continue to wait patiently, for the CHIP. One of the most important prophecies. We wait, and we know that it's coming. We know for a fact that it's coming. We know for absolute fact, 100% certainty. It's not a guess. It's not something that we kind of just think may happen. No, we know for 100% fact. We know that this is going to happen and that this is going to take place. So with that happening and with that taking place, we gotta focus even more, knowing that we at the end of this thing, right? Because we know that the Lord is going to make his enemies at his feet.